The Michigan Wolverines go into Nebraska, and with Biff, the new head coach, openly roasting Saban on College game day to start the day, though, turns around and gets him a big win against Nebraska. Joe, your thoughts on the game?
My attention goes right to Nebraska because kind of like what we talked about with Oklahoma, I didn't learn anything super new about Michigan. I knew about Michigan coming into this, that they are the same identity where they run the ball hard. Justin Haynes is a dude. Bryce Underwood's figuring stuff out, and he's getting better, and he is a crazy talented player. The more chances he gets, he's just going to make more highlight reel plays. The rushing touchdown that he had was extremely tremendous. But holy crap, Blake. Nebraska is soft. Unbelievably soft. You're playing in a conference that success is found by the physicality that you establish on both lines of scrimmage. And you got bodied on both sides. You got ran all over by Michigan's running backs and Bryce Underwood. You couldn't stop anything in tight quarters. You're getting completely smoked by pulling offensive linemen, and you're getting completely worked by that Michigan O-line. And you're not getting the necessary push or able to establish the necessary protection for DeLeone Raiola to have time to operate in the pocket. I think that this is a huge indictment on where Matt Rule is at the current moment. I get that he took over a program that was not in a very good state, but it's real troubling to me, Blake, that after this much time at Nebraska, of all places, they haven't been able to find some physical, tough-ass dudes to fill both lines of scrimmage, that this is where we are in week 4 to 2025, and they're getting bodied like that. You should never lose like that at home. That's my big part with this, man. That was an embarrassing loss. So
and where's Dane
loss?
Well, where's
right.
Dane Key, by the way? That's a whole different topic for another day. Yeah, so let's turn there. They got physically dominated up front. Now, the thing is, Joe, but I'm not there with you yet that they're out of this like they're Fugazi. I think Michigan's a better team than people want to give them credit for, and I think they're working through some things throwing the football. The problem was, you're right, they played a little soft. I thought there were some good times that they stopped the run, but Justice Haynes had over 8 yards a carry. Marshall had 13 yards a carry. Bryce Underwood, if you take the sacks out of it, and I don't like doing this, Joe, he had 10 yards a carry. Actually, over that, he had 15.6 yards per carry, sack adjusted. The 37-yard run. It's ridiculous. You got physically bodied by a one-dimensional team without their head coach. You were able to do some good things if you're Nebraska by holding on in some situations. But, Joe, I gotta do this. I got to go back to Michigan. I get the Oklahoma game, but I don't want to just say I'm giving them a mulligan. But I'm going to say I'm giving them a mulligan because I think Bryce Underwood's getting better every single week. And I think that I understand that they have limitations in their receiving core, and they're going to continue. And that is going to be the ultimate thing that hurts them. They had 7 sacks. They got after John Mateer. The first time on the road with a head coach who's going through a lot with a brand new freshman quarterback, Joe, I'm going to give them mulligans like that on the road in the SEC. I am. They got back to what is going to win us this football game. And I got to be real with you. I thought Biff let Bryce Underwood play.
Yeah.
I think more than Sharon Moore, he let him roll. Are there things he's got to clean up? Yes. You also had 5 drops yesterday for Michigan. 5. I look at Bryce Underwood and say to myself, okay, so he's 12 of 22. Well, can you get him you're going to have to give him a better receiving core. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to. But, Joe, they're a one-dimensional team yet again, and they're whipping people's ass up front. And I know the score is 30-27. But if DeLeone Raiola is not special, which, Joe, I thought yesterday was the best game that he has ever had in his entire life. He had no time. But he kept making play after play after play. The Barney Hail Mary, and then Barney just in general. I thought, Joe, that they threw back some really big punches. But, man, if you're not going to find a running game for this kid, you can't expect him to be Superman. I look at Michigan and say, man, that front seven dominated in so many different areas on the road. And what was I thought, the most hostile situation in the Big Ten yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, Nebraska really thought that they were back, and they're 3 points away from getting the win. But, man, you can't get physically dominated like that, especially in the Big Ten, and think you're going to come away with wins.
Yeah, that's the main point for me. To just add to your Michigan thought, I do agree with the sentiment that you have here, that you're starting to see Bryce Underwood improve. And the way that he improves, it's kind of funny to round out the show with how we talked about DJ Lagway. They're doing the complete opposite, where he has a bad game and suddenly you're restricting him more. And now we're in this
loose more.
Yeah, they're letting him play freely, and they're letting him go be an athlete. They're incorporating him effectively as a runner, and he's just going out there making plays. 12 of 22 is nothing that is incredibly sexy. The drops that you mentioned.
Gotta go watch.
Yeah,
gotta go watch it.
I think that there's more to be had at this team in the future if they can add some effective, impactful receivers, and it'll be easy to recruit good receivers with Bryce Underwood being there. But we just got to be patient. If this team still drops a game that they're not supposed to, or they end up finishing at 9-3 and they're one of the teams that's out of the playoff mix, I think that's realistic assumption. That was actually what we said during our preseason preview was, hey, Bryce Underwood, the athlete's going to win you some games. Bryce Underwood, the freshman, is going to make some mistakes that hurt you, which happened against Oklahoma. 9-3 is a great year for you, and it establishes a really nice floor for you to surprise teams in the future.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at what happened. So they're 2 for 3 is Nebraska last night on fourth down. Okay, Joe, they're 2 of 13 on third, and Dylan Raiola didn't have a chance. Here's the truth: he's trying to make too many right reads sometimes too. He's going to have to let this thing rip, because in these games, I will live with the turnover. It's like Lagway last week, as you brought up. I'll live with the turnovers if you can't run the ball. Like, it's what a lot of people did for Garrett a year ago, right? Hey, man, you can't run the ball. So, okay, fine. You're turning the ball over. It is what it is. He's got to let some of these things rip. I thought it was the best game that he had yesterday that we've seen, and it's unfortunate. But you can't get run through like as Saban would say, shit through a 10 horn and think you're going to beat anybody, because you got run through with a shit through a 10 horn. No. So look, I'm not completely out in Nebraska either. But Joe, I mean, they don't have any other wins that they could get here. That
their schedule's too easy. I mean, and I don't think that they run the table and go 11-1. I don't think that happens.
I don't either. Not with that, because here's what's going to happen. Everybody's sending heat on Raiola now.
Yes. Yep.
Everybody's sending heat. And Joe, here's the bad part. 2 of those sacks in the third quarter, 2 of them came on 3-man pressures.
That's my whole point, Blake, is how completely soft that Nebraska offensive line is that they got pushed around.
They have a massive problem at left tackle. I mean, Brabham, right? Isn't it Brabham? Barham.
Jay-Sean Barham. That kid's awesome, by the way. I love watching that kid. They're using him really creatively because he's an off-ball linebacker. They're using him like Jahad Campbell at Alabama last year, where they were just kind of sending him as a heat-seeking missile. So yeah, I mean, there is so much potential there with what they could end up accomplishing for that defense. It's Wink Martindale being the psychopath that he is and having those kinds of weapons. There's a lot of potential.
Well, hold on. That's why Raiola's game was the best, because I thought Martindale showed a lot and then threw a lot at him, and he bailed him out. I mean, the 3-man pressure, the reason it happened is because everybody got confused on what to do and they get the sack. That's not on Raiola. It's not on Raiola. I mean, it's not. I mean, he knows what you're trying to do to him. All right, send it. Don't send it. I don't care. I know that this is going to be open, though.